Hello, friends. It's Doc. It's Labor Day. Happy Labor Day to all of the Americans out there. Actually, happy Labor Day to everyone. So, getting my shoe tied right now. Don't want to trip as we're heading out. So, nothing exciting today. I'm going to show you what I've been working on most of the day. And then we're going to do some walking around the farm and just hang out. It's kind of the plan. It's over here. Got a water bottle. Got some fire. We might start some fire in a bit. Okay. So those who have been wondering, I've been good. So I had a good time at Burning Man. I didn't stream all of it just because there was some adult content and such, but you guys saw a little bit of it. So current temperature here in Flat Top is 70 degrees or 20% or 22 Celsius. So let's head on out to what I'm going to show you what we were working on. You guys want to see how beautiful the sky is today? We got a beautiful, beautiful sky. That just lovely. It's a lovely day. Today is absolutely a lovely late summer's day. Only got a few more days of summer left. I think the 21st is the end of summer. But late summer. Beautiful, beautiful day. So I've been trying to grow my followers on Twitch. So if you happen to have a Twitch account, I'll explain all that at some point in the future. But if you happen to have a Twitch account, even if you're going to watch me more on DLive, if you just follow me on Twitch, some of the stuff I need to do, I need a follower account a little bit higher on one of the on some of the other platforms. So working on that. But DLive is still my home. It's still where I'm going to do most of the stuff. So. Bunnies, ducks, chickens, everything. So let's walk down. I'll show you what I've been working on. I'll give you guys a quick little tour of how I'm doing it as well. So I'm cleaning out a future spot for fall campfires. I decided that I need to spend some more time outside in the fall. And the evening times is a good time. And if I can get everything set up right, which I'm still working on that. If I can get everything set up right, I might be able to do some campfire streams. So where I can set up my computer or some other stuff. So here's the spot I've been working on. There is the, that's where pretty much I took an old smoker. I'm gonna build a little thing around it. But this was all crazy tall weeds, like you see right over here. I'm gonna walk over here. Actually cut that down earlier this year. But see how tall the weeds are? Going in that direction. That's how tall this was here. And you guys can see the kind of pile that I'm cleaning up right there is my scythe. Let me show you guys if you've never seen one. It's probably, I'm not a big weed whacker fan. And this tool is a really nice tool to use. So, but this is that's going to be the spot where we'll do some campfiring. And this is not very far away from the Pine Cove bees. That's what's right here. So these are the bees that I was doing an experiment with. I've got the temperature gauges on this and kind of letting these guys do their own thing for a while. Unless I'm really noticing anything issue, kind of just letting them be bees. And then all the other hives really focusing on. I do think I'm going to get into that hive soon and check it out. I'm going to ultimately have to move all these hives because you can see they're kind of doing a lean there. So I'm going to need to get in there and do the lean. So I think to show you guys how the scythening works, or whatever, sighing, I'm going to set up right here and I'm going to come through and I'm going to cut I'm going to cut that particular area right there. So maybe If I put you guys like right here, maybe, I think I can set you guys up right here and you guys can watch and see how it's done for those that it might interest. I'm not gonna do very much of it, so if it doesn't really interest you, just stick around for another minute or so, and I just need to walk over and get the side. And let me see if I've got it lined up where I want it to be. That's grass. That's weeds, so perfect, about right there. Taking everything out of my pocket. Let me go grab it. So I will let you know my technique's not the best. So you guys can criticize me on my technique all you want. So I'm gonna sharpen it real fast because I've been doing that a lot. So it's a good idea to just keep sharpening it. Just a couple times on both sides. That's pretty good. Now I'll show you. We'll get out here and get a couple good clumps in. Okay, so you guys can see how much I got in there. Just not very much work, and does a really good job. I'll grab my water. It's the big thing I want to get right now. So we're gonna sit here in the shade. Let me get a drink of water, chit chat for a minute, and we'll head on out to do some other things. On this lovely, man, is it a lovely day. So one of the things on Labor Day is I like to actually do more. I definitely think about doing physical labor on Labor Day, especially farming stuff. So personally, I'm not a big fan of Labor Day. So I think it's a trick. It's one of those, like, it's the same thing with working for a large corporation or working for a man or working for something like that. You know, if you want to work for a small business, someone that you, a business that you support, you care about, that you really like their vision, that's all cool. Like, I'm all for, like, you work for a mom and pop restaurant, you work, you're in the science field and you're doing some innovative stuff. You're a farmhand and you want to get food on the table for people. Or maybe you're even working some type of retail and you just enjoy helping that small business, like, sell cool products and such like that. That's all cool. But if you're working for like a large corporation, you're working for like a Walmart or you're working for something like that, and you're not enjoying work, like, that's where I kind of think the idea that you're getting tricked is, because, you know, we spend most of our time sleeping, And then the next aspect, that once you become an adult, the next aspect you spend most of your life doing is working. And if you're going to be working, you should be doing something that you pretty much enjoy doing. Because other than that, you're spending the money, you're using that money to live. And I don't know. I mean, most of the jobs I've had, I've enjoyed doing. So some of you may wonder, well, Doc, what have you done in your life? So my very first job when I was 15, was I was a pizza delivery boy, and I worked for a pizza place. Well, I started off making pizzas and working at the place, and then I moved up and was pizza delivery boy. Really cool little place. And then I was a janitor. One of my friends was starting a janitorial business, and so I helped them with the startup business. And I was a janitor for about 6 months with them until they understood how to run businesses, and they really got that down. And then they started hiring people that were actually better and quicker at janitorial work than I was. But again, like my main goal there was I was cheap, I was young, they needed some extra help, and they needed to learn how to run businesses and learn how to manage employees. And so that's why I worked with them then. Third job after that, I had so many minuscule jobs. I worked at the mall for a while. I actually liked some of the mall jobs, so I can't completely knock retail that much. So a place I worked at a place called Store of Knowledge. It was like a science store. I worked at Walden Books. I worked at Toys R Us. So I love toy stores. That was actually a fun job. Most of all those jobs, I was like a stock boy, or if I wasn't in the stock part, I was the one dealing with logistics. I was the one doing the ordering, making sure we had the products and such. And that's right up my alley. That's the kind of stuff I like doing when I worked. I worked for PacSun, hated it. Pacific Sunwear, hated it, horrible. Everything about that job. That was the beginning of me learning about how didn't really like corporate, didn't really like working for the man. I was a steel worker, so I worked in I think it was Motor Wheel and Hayes Limmer. So they were in Akron. Pretty much, if any of you ever heard of the Goodyear rim plant, it was pretty much the equivalent of the Goodyear rim plant, just a small company. Did that for 2 summers. I was a union steel worker. Hated that job. That's what my dad helped me get that, because he was a maintenance mechanic there. Pay was good at the time, but yeah, didn't like that. I have worked. So I've had a handful of my own businesses all throughout life. So I had a trading card business. I had an urban farm at one point. What else did I do? I was a dating coach. I designed websites. I had a production company where we made movies. Really poorly bad movies, by the way. I worked at the zoo. The zoo was a fun job. I worked at the zoo for a while. And then I started, then shortly after that, I moved down here. And the only job I've had, besides the jobs I've created, the only job I had down here is I worked for the census, just because I really wanted to get out there and get into the community. And I thought that'd be a good option. Didn't work out quite as way, but I learned a lot about, that was the first government job I've ever had. And I learned all about government jobs, and I learned why government jobs are horrible and why you don't want to work for government jobs. But I did that. And then down here, I've ran a bed and breakfast. I had my bed and breakfast. I have my nonprofit. I have my farm business. We have Lisa's arts and crafts business, which is Crafty Rainbows, or HenX, where we do that. And then I'll be in the near future. We'll be doing the campgrounds and such like that. And I do computer repair and crypto consulting. So lots of stuff. I always try to have my hands in lots of stuff. But I say that as in, at this particular point, I think I've realized the majority of my life I've worked for myself now. I've been an entrepreneur. I've done most of mine. Now, I don't have anything, spectacularly great. I'm not, riding around any Lambos, or, can't say I'm a baller or anything, but I'm pretty happy with the way I'm pretty content. So almost my debt's manageable, so virtually no debt. Virtually no debt. I have a little bit now, but whatever. Things happen. I need to take some. Do some investments, do some cool stuff. So, other than that, and I say this because at 42, I've done this. These are the stuff that I've done. I started working at 15, and now I'm 42. So what'd that be? 30, 28. So 28 years of my life that I've been in the working field. So more than half my life I've been working, and then of that I've been here for 16 years. So that's more than half of my working life. I've been here in West Virginia. And then, even when I was not here and I was still living in Ohio, I still owned my other small businesses and still did that. So I say this because you too can do this. It's never too late. You can be older. You can be younger. You can, be deep in debt. Just figure out what you're good at. Not necessarily what you want to do. I've made the mistakes a few times trying to get into fields and do what I want to do, and stuff I want to do I'm not always that good at. So a lot of times it's just you want to focus on what you're good at doing, and then you want to try to find that niche. So it might be in your area you live in. You might have to expand out to the internets. You might have to move, but you can figure out something, and then do you want to rely on yourself? Because that's a thing that I know is a lot of people, that's hard for a lot of people. Because I know some people that don't mind being the cog in the machine, and it's good because we need people that want to be the cog in the machine, that want to get out there and they want to work hard and they want to work for the man and they want to get their paycheck. If that's not you, which it isn't me, then just know you don't have to do that with your life. Is that there are ways to take steps. If you need help, get a hold of me. !Discord. Get a hold of me. And if you're watching this later and you're watching this on Twitch or DLive, YouTube might be the only one if you're watching this on that you might have a tough time with. But somewhere you can find my Discord link, or you can just send me an email, which is doc@mavispharmacy, spelled with an F.com, to send me an email. I'll be more than happy to help you, help guide you through figuring out what to do. So, not charging anything. It's free. It's just my time giving it to you to help you. If you need to chit chat, you need some type of I don't know. I used to be a life coach, so some type of life coaching type things, but I can help point you in the direction and help you figure out your budgets and such like that, because it's possible. And if you're watching this and you're just like, well, but I kind of like working for the corporate man and not having to worry so much and just getting my paycheck and clocking out, not thinking anymore. That's cool. As long as you're living the best version of your life, that's all I'm saying, man, is live the best version of your life as possible. If you're having more bad days at work than good days at work, then you're not living your best possible life. If weekend after weekend after weekend, all you're doing is complaining about life, and you're complaining about how work is just tedious and it's just hard, and when you go back to work on Monday, it's just getting harder and harder and harder for you to think about going to work, nah, man, you're not living your best possible life. It's time, and I'm not saying quit your job immediately. I'm not even saying it's something you're going to quit maybe within the next year, but it's time, when you're having those extended lots and lots of bad days, then it's time for you to start taking the steps, and it's time for you to start Doc's plan on getting out of the rat race and stop being a slave to the machine and start figuring out what you are meant to do, because all of us are meant to do awesome stuff. While I love capitalism, I hate this corporatism world we live in right now, on how we're just caught up in this rat race. I mean, we're really just, I know this is going to sound lefty, but we're really just modern slaves. If you don't have control, if you don't have grasp of your life, if you are living paycheck to paycheck, if, your corporation tells you, has completely dictates over your life, that's slavery to me, man. So, but you might, you might like your stuff. I get it. I used to really like stuff too. I had lots of it. I still have lots of stuff. I didn't get rid of any of my stuff. I just didn't really add as much new stuff to my stuff as I want. What's interesting, so I was thinking about every article of clothing. So this is my hat from working for Camp Creek Volunteer. My neighbor gave me this shirt. One of my friends gave me these overalls because they didn't fit him anymore. The only thing new on my body is my socks because, well, I like good socks. And the shoes or secondhand shoes, somebody didn't use them anymore. And you'd be surprised. So, like my outfit, let's include my socks. My outfit has a total of like $40 of what it cost me to wear my clothes. And yeah, that's pretty expensive, but that's including shoes and socks. So I say that because there is ways where you say, oh, but I'm impoverished, Doc, and it's really hard. I got a lot of bills to pay, or I've got, I don't want to live in crappy old clothes. And I get it. You just, it's prioritizing what's important in your life, and it's finding what you need to find. And it's doing the tricks that you need to do. And that's why it's a lot easier if you have someone to bounce ideas off of. We're going to talk about writing stuff down. Figuring out what your purpose of life is, figuring out what things you need in life, what your quality of life, what you want to have. So it's funny that the sun's just right there. It's a really bad spot for this camera angle, but I'm just kind of comfortable sitting right here on the ground. So I say this because I was blessed at a young age to be able to figure out that I didn't want to work the rat race. I watched my dad, watched my grandparents, working in the steel mill, working in the coal mine, working in the rubber factories and in such like that. I would have been third generation. So both of my grandparents worked in there. My dad worked in there. My great grandparents on my dad's side, they didn't work in it, but they worked to support it. So so I saw all this, and I'm just like, nah, man, I'm not. That's not my cup of tea. I don't want to be doing that for the rest of my life. And so I see it down here. It was interesting when I moved down here. It felt exactly the same. I've met third and fourth and fifth generation coal miners, and some of these people love their jobs, and some people are like, it's the only job I have available. So that's why I work with some of the mission groups and such down here, and we work with people to really just help get people into doing other things with their life. But, taking control back. And yeah, I don't have all of the luxurious things that I used to have, but man, it's cool. Like the stuff I do have and the stuff I can do now. Like, so here's an example. I'll try to post a picture up on my Instagram. If you don't follow me on Instagram, it's the same. It's XDrFirefly on Instagram. Lisa's also got an Instagram. Hers are better pictures. It's MavisHenX. So if you want to follow either one of us on Instagram. But we just in one big haul out of the garden, we pulled 40 pounds of tomatoes. That's not even, that wasn't even half of them. That was just, we were deciding we were getting in there, and we just wanted to get in there and pull that out. And that's not me touching that. I think I got like 7 or 8 cabbage this year. We got like 10 or 15 eggplants, and we didn't even plant a lot. We just kind of were just testing this kind of stuff out. And so elderberries. I gave elderberries to a neighbor, and they brought me 5 quarts of elderberry jelly. Awesome. And I had enough elderberries to make my medicine and such like that. So, the yield and the bounty is spectacular. And it takes time, The elderberries has taken years for me to foster them and get them to grow and to pay attention to them. And the tomatoes and such were just tricks. In a couple weeks, probably, I need to get the room set up. Like in a couple weeks, I'm going to show you guys how to do cloning of tomatoes. And the reason you want to clone the tomatoes is that gets it so you can bring some of those tomato clones in, and then you'll just treat it like a houseplant throughout the course of the winter. And this is for colder regions. And then you'll be able to have some tomato plants, some good starts for next year of plants that are already acclimated to your area because they're from your particular area. So, okay, so let's go up enough chit chatting now. Let's go walk up there. We're gonna take a little walk up. We're gonna take a little walk up there, and I'm gonna show you guys the stuff going on Justin's market garden. And we'll talk about what I did this year and what we're gonna do different. What we're gonna do different next year. You guys can see the goldenrod is in full bloom. So might be wondering, why do you keep so much goldenrod up there? Goldenrod is spectacular for the bees. So that is spectacular bee food. So I always want to make sure I've got enough of that kind of stuff just sitting around, so my bees and such have all the pollen and such that they need to get to. And so that's a really nice, it's a nice thing. I mean, look, you can just zoom in right there and you'll see some bees. Well, it's moving a lot, but there's bees on there. Hey, look, a monarch. It's also why I leave, if you guys look down here, see this is milkweed. And there's some milkweed all over the place. Yesterday, when we were out here, I found some monarch caterpillars just hanging out. I've seen if I walk past quickly if I see any. I don't see any initially at a quick glance, but this also makes really good habitat right now for a couple things. Also, it's where we're going to be extending gardens and such. So like last year, that extended all the way to the little blue flag right there. So this is going to be my big Ruth Strout garden plots. As you can see, I put some hay down. The grass is starting to come up there. I'll probably just scythe down that grass. But the idea is that's where we're going to just go focus on the Ruth Strout. That's where you don't do a whole lot of work. You don't need to till. And then you add the hay back into that and you just plant that. It makes it easier. So I picked a nice big spot there. My fruit trees. I planted about 30 fruit trees this year. Very excited about that. I'm gonna walk over here. I saw a caterpillar on one of these yesterday. I believe it was. We're gonna walk over and see if I happen to see him hanging out over here again today. Don't see him on there. I don't see one on there, but that's okay. So Mark Garden did very well this year. Planted the corn a little late, but the idea was just to get the corn in the ground and to get the ground reacclimated. We're used to growing stuff. So this is the Three Sisters. So we pulled a lot of squash out of here. So you can still see there's probably still some squash in here. Yeah, look there. There's still a piece of squash. Still some squash right here. So in here there's squash. And you also see how there are beans, bush beans. And then they're supposed to be corn, but I think the corn is going to kind of be slacking this year because I kind of didn't do very well. I kind of messed up that. But we're going to go over and check this out because still excited about this. You guys can see this guy right here, this nice melon. It's my watermelon. It's doing good. And then I noticed right here, as we were looking here, got some more tomatoes. Not that I needed any more tomatoes, but some more tomatoes growing there. And then, don't know if this guy's got enough time. We got another little watermelon growing. So we will see. We will see. And then I've got my my ghost pepper plant, which I'm probably just gonna clone because he's not producing a lot of peppers right now. So I might just use him as a clone. And then that's just wild corn that just grew up on its own. Let's walk over and look to see what's going on in the that is Stormy Daniels. Those are the bees that I rescued. Still doing well. And then just another nice overview. Standing in the distance looking at the hayfield. You might be wondering what those chunks of hay are. Those are to extend and add into the flower beds. Such like that in the future. So we're just gonna walk down. We're gonna go say hi to the young bunnies. We've got some baby bunnies that you guys might like to see, and then we'll go over and say hi to the young chickens. Yeah, man, look at that sky. Look at that. Just beautiful, beautiful sky it is again today. See, this is the other side of the goldenrods. So I try to leave a pretty decent spot of goldenrod in. So, and then I have a buffer. There's a buffer of goldenrod and stuff like this between here and the road as well. One, I like it because I can't see the road. Two, since I'm not using it for anything, might as well let it flower up and let the bees have as much bee food as possible. Also good habitat. Always trying to make edge, trying to have as much edge on the property as possible because edge has some of the most diverse life that you can have in it. So, and if you don't know what edge is just a spot between where the forest transitions into a field. And so, because it kind of has shade and full sun, it kind of gets the mix of both. Edge can have some really interesting diverseness to us. So this is shade edge, if you're wondering. So I've got a row of trees behind me, and then I allow this to grow up. And this is always shady in here, so this produces a different kind of ecosystem, a different kind of edge. Always trying to. It's a good idea to add as much different variety of ecosystems. I don't think I've had a talk about this year. So this is pokeweed. So pokeweed grows. It's got these red stems, these giant leaves, and the plants are usually pretty big. So you can see kind of the plants there. So the seeds are really good, or these are really good for dyeing your hair or for making natural dye. The seed inside is actually poisonous for young children. How about we should put it that way? So you don't want your kids eating those. But the flesh around these fleshy spots, the flesh around the seed is really, really good. So you can see how it already starts dying a little bit. But that flesh is really, really good for arthritis and such, as long as you don't crush the seed. I thought Sylvia was going to be here. But Sylvia must be out adventuring someplace else. Oh, there's Miss Sylvia, just hanging out right there. Right, Miss Sylvia? fence that I need to get redone. Okay, so let's go walk over and say hi to the young babies. We're in the bunny barn for those that are new to. So we are going to be changing. The bunny barn is actually going to be changed. We're going to convert this to more of an indoor greenhouse instead of we're going to use our LED lights, and we're going to try to move all of our bunnies over into the Kuppenheimer, which is the main barn that you guys watch if you guys watch the Mavis Pharmacy channel. And the reason is we just opted that it just makes more sense to have most of our animals together. Super squirmy. So, little bunny, super squirmy bunnies, big feet. Look at those big, ginormous feet. Woo. These guys haven't been handled that much. So these were the surprise bunnies. We weren't expecting to get these guys. We put the mom in here because she had some other had some babies, and then she had another set of babies in here. So. So, again, wasn't expecting to have chickens this year, but I kind of slacked. Lisa was gone a while ago, and I kind of slacked at collecting the eggs. And then they had a bunch of eggs, and I thought might as well just let them hatch up some of the eggs, and let's see what happens. So that's what we did. We're gonna head on into the Kuppenheimer. This is the pallet barn that we built. The door project is seen on our list. So I have a camera actually in these guys' cage. There is the chickens. Davis. You guys want to meet? You guys can see Timmy. He's actually the one that started this whole mix. That's Timmy. So, and then I'll show you guys, we'll go check out the bees real fast, and then we'll call it a nice fun adventure. So here's the bees. I don't have a camera on it right now. I'll have to get all that set up. So I just recently turned the door. So if you guys see how some of the bees are still trying to come in through the side. They still haven't got used to the door being turned yet. But I turned the door because we're ultimately going to be moving the bees into here, if you guys can see behind that plastic. And we're going to try an experiment with moving the bees inside. and seeing how well that works. And just a bunch of ducks hanging out. And then I want to show you guys just how awesome. Look at the pears on the pear tree. This pear tree just peared like crazy. Lots and lots of pears. So, and then that's a future project. If it all works out decent, I'll show you guys. I'm gonna try to make some plastic. I'm gonna try to make like a recycled wall. But anyways, there's the pear trees. Kind of the look of the farm that way. Well, anyways, friends, I think I'm gonna head in. I'm gonna get back to scything some more. It's probably not as much fun for you guys just to watch me scythe, so I'm just gonna end the video. I'm gonna head in and scythe it, do some more of that. So hope you guys are having an awesome Labor Day. Thanks for joining me on this fun adventure today. I look forward to seeing you guys again rather soon. Remember, Thursday nights is when we do our show, and then I do pop-up shows whenever I've got a project or something to work on. So when we get into the bees next, we got some bees to get into. So we'll be doing shows, live streams of me getting into the bees. That way you guys can see firsthand exactly how I do it. Anyways, I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. It's Doc. Adios.